This is the tactic that finally saw me have an unbeaten season on FM23, and not only that, Darwin Núñez scored a massive 41 league goals, and I'm going to show you exactly how it happened. But before we get into the tactic, you know how we do. We're going to bring you the results, and how about we start with Liverpool first? Yes, an invincible season, not just in the league, but in the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the Champions League. Now that is pretty impressive. So in the league, 32 games, 6 draws, 76 goal difference, and 102 points on the board. Núñez and Salah getting a massive 68 league goals between them. And if we look at the rest of the competition, we beat Real Madrid 3-0 in the Champions League final. We won the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, and the only game we lost in this entire simulation, entire season, was the Charity Shield on opening day. I mean, you can see the green here. It is absolutely gorgeous to look at. And that is that one blemish that we started the season and it just didn't really click in the Charity Shield. But no one cares about it. It's a Mickey Mouse trophy, as we all know. And let's see how the rest of the team did. Now, if we have a look at the goals, as you can see, Núñez actually got 58 over the whole season. Salah got 48, Cody Gakpo got 10, and the assist, Andy Robertson with 23, Trent with 20, and Salah 18. Absolutely fantastic. And if we dive into the data hub, then you can see that if we look at the general performance, goals per game, non-expected penalty goals per game, number of conceded, everything in this tactic and in this season was massively higher than the rest of the league. And if we go into the attacking, well, again, it's just beautiful reading. The only one we're down on is dribbles per game, but I will explain why that happened. Now, if we look at the defending side of it, again, we didn't have to attempt that many tackles. We didn't give that many clear-cut chances away. In fact, we were 6.88 fewer than the rest of the Premier League. Just unbelievable defensive performance that this tactic has given us. It has been absolutely sensational, it really has. And we don't just test these tactics with the one team, but we also went over to Holland and we tested it with FC20. Now, they are expected to finish 5th at the start of the season. We got into 3rd, we were just 4 points behind Ajax. It's so close we could taste it, but we couldn't quite get it over the line. And we got to the semi-finals of the Europa Conference League, which is pretty good as well. And when you look at the fixtures, the disappointing thing is 4 points. Remember this, 4 points. We lost 2 of our last league games, of our last 5 league games, and we drew 1. 2 wins from those that we drop points in and we win the league. That's how close we were. We could taste it, and we beat Ajax on the last day of the season as well. Just unreal. Data hub wise for these guys, for FC20, again, we are up on absolutely everything. Goals per game, non-expected, penalty game, even our tackles won ratio is higher. And when we dive into the attacking side of it, again, absolutely amazing. The only ones we're down on is dribbles per game, but I will explain why that is, and the cross completion, but again, I will explain that as well. Defensively, I mean, clearances per game, we are lower, but there's a reason for that. We had more of the ball, and the tackles attempted per game, we are much better on as well. Honestly, this tactic works so well. And you know what? I haven't even told you what it's based on yet, and that is all to come. Now, we did also travel over to Scotland, and we trialled it with Rangers. Rangers, I just can't seem to quite crack the league over in Scotland. We finished 2nd. We finished 8 points behind Rangers. Frustrating, but we were 23 points ahead of Aberdeen in 3rd place. So we were miles clear. Celtic are a little bit stronger. We didn't get out of the group stage of the Champions League. We were knocked out of the round of 16 by Lazio in the Europa League, but we won the League Cup. So, again, not terrible. We still got a trophy on the board. In terms of the data hub, again, look at it. It's a thing of absolute beauty. The shots per game is 15. That is massive. 4.5, 5 shots higher than the rest of the league. Goals per game, we're scoring on average one more than the rest of the teams. Obviously, we are one of the stronger teams in this league, but when we look at our offensive data, I have not seen a data hub that complete ever. I really haven't. That is just sensational. And again, defensively, really, really good. I think it's just that we dropped those points against Celtic early on in the season, and it did really mess us up. But anyway, let's show you exactly how this tactic works. This tactic is all based off Steven Gerrard's 4-3-3. Now, specifically from when he was at Rangers. At Aston Villa, didn't really work so well, but at Rangers it was really sensational. What he achieved with them was fantastic. Now, I have adjusted the way I would normally have a defence for this, and I will explain why. Now, if we look at the way it lines up, it is a 4-3-3, but not a traditional 4-3-3, and I've actually pushed the wing-backs up. And the reason for that is, in this system, your wing-backs are so vital to how your team are going to play. They are so integral to your attacking play that you need them pushed up. Now, what happens is when you do lose the ball, they do drop back into a flat 4, which actually makes it quite solid defensively. As you've seen from the stats, we don't concede many goals using this system, and actually it works really, really well. So, in terms of the way we line up, we have a standard goalkeeper with just set to defend. In front of him we have 2 centre-backs. On the right it's just a central defender, and on the left is a ball-playing defender. The wing-backs are told to stay wider. Now, I kept it very, very simple in terms of instructions. We weren't overloading them, but what we did want them is to be attacking, and they are both going to be getting forward, staying wider. They are your players that are going to put the ball into the box. Now, your defensive midfielder is going to be your anchor. They are going to sit there and break up the play. Now, when your wing-backs are bombing on up here and they lose the ball, that is where your defensive midfielder comes into their own. In front of him, you have a box-to-box midfielder who is going to be moving into the channels, trying to receive the ball, and again spread it up to your what will eventually become a front 5, because the way your wing-backs are going to play. Next to him, we have the deep line playmaker, and we are going to be getting him to really close down. He is going to be all over the place and extremely important in winning the ball back and then getting it forward. You have 2 inside forwards on left and right. Now, they are going to be directing the ball straight into the pressing forward, but they are going to sit narrower, so we want them just in here. And the reason for that is we are relying on our wing backs to bomb on, create the overlap, and force the other team into a mistake. We're also going to tell them to close down less often, because we want them to be free to pick the ball up and really drive forward into the box. On the right, I set it to attack, and on the left, I set it to support. Now, that was purely because when I originally did the tactic, I was doing it with Liverpool. Mohamed Salah, so much better when he's set up to attack, and Luis Diaz, better in support. Up front, you have a pressing forward, and again, it will all become clear why, and they are going to be shooting more often, and I guarantee you with this system, they will get bags and bags of chances, and they will score bags and bags of goals. Now, how does this tactic work with the team? So we're going to play fairly wide. Remember, the reason for that is your wing-backs are going to be bombing on. They're creating the overlap, as you can see here, but your wingers are sitting nice and narrow, so they are dragging the full-backs inside, creating that space for your wing-backs. We are going to be working the ball into the box as well, and we are going to allow the players to dribble at the defence. It's a short passing system, but at a high tempo. So 1-touch football, 2-touch football, pass and move, and create lots and lots of space. In transition is where it is key. So we are counter-pressing and then countering when they get the ball. Steven Gerrard started his stewardship as an academy manager at Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp, and a lot of his tactics were based off what he learned from Jurgen Klopp, and you can see it in the way he set that Rangers team up, and it was a key element of their success. When we get the ball with the goalkeeper, we want to distribute it quickly, and we're playing that out to the fullbacks and the centre-backs. We're going to give it nice and short to our defenders. Out of possession, though, is where this comes into its own. We are pressing high. We are right in the defence's face as soon as they get the ball, and we're stopping the goalkeeper distributing it short. What will happen is it will force the goalkeeper to kick it long, where your holding midfielder and 2 centre-backs will pick the ball up. We also want to trap the players outside, which means we're going to swarm the inside part of the field and make it really difficult for them to get into the box. And as you can see from the data hub before, it worked because they didn't get half as many chances as they normally would. We're also going to be stepping up, which means you will see the defence try to play that offside. Now that does leave us vulnerable, especially when your wing backs have pushed forward, and it does cause you to concede a few goals. However, on the whole, I found that it worked, and we want to stay on our feet. High pressing leads to yellow cards because players will dive into the tackles, and we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. And just so you can get an idea of how this will play, you can see it right there, how Salah tucked in, pulled away the fullback, room for Trent, and Diaz scores an easy goal in the Champions League final against Real Madrid to make it 1-0. Salah then down the right hand side again, look how much room Trent has there. Thiago into Diaz, Diaz to Robertson, and it's 2-0. Robertson not picked up on that overlap on the outside. You can just see how critical the fullbacks are. And the last goal came from a corner, not cleared by Real Madrid. Trent not picked up, and Bobby scores. And the final bit of action from this tactic is from the league game against Aston Villa. Again, you saw how much room Andy Robertson had. He played the ball into Darwin Núñez, who scored his opening goal of the game. He actually missed a hat-trick, he missed a penalty, in this game, but he did bag a hat-trick. And again, look how much room Kimmich has on the overlap. Crosses it in for Núñez, in off the post, and it's 2-0. You can see how dangerous that overlap is to the defending team. Virgil van Dijk to Diaz, a lovely ball forward to Darwin, and it's 3-0. So yeah, this tactic, it works. It is a tactic that you need to have really good wing backs for, because otherwise it doesn't work. I did try a variation to have a flat back for, and I found it didn't actually generate that much going forward, or not as much as it did, and the problem was you were still as vulnerable to the offside trap. So this is all about playing on the front foot and being that attacking progressive team that everybody wants to be. We all want to play attacking football at the end of the day. So yeah, I personally recommend this tactic. It's one that I've done myself. It's not anybody else's. It will be available on FM Scout, Sort It Outside, and FM Ultras as well. I think they're going to put it up for me, which is awesome. So if you do want to give it a go, download it from one of those amazing sites and let us know. The link is going to be, I will put the link in the bio once it goes up on there, and I will see you on the next one. We are going to do a rebuild with this tactic. We're going to rebuild Burnley, and we're going to see just how far we can get them in 5 seasons, and we'll go from there. I'll see you on the rebuild, guys. Have a great one.